Dear students, today we are going to discuss Chapter 5 of Treasure Trove, A Face in the Dark by Ruskin Bond. Ruskin Bond, an Indian author of British descent, is a prolific, a very creative writer whose works are popular with adults and children alike. In the story, A Face in the Dark, writer Ruskin Bond relates a thrilling incident set among the attractive, beautiful hills around Shimla. Ruskin Bond's fascination, attraction with the paranormal means ghostly or supernatural, finds expression in this story. Ruskin Bond makes skillful use of all the elements of a horror story: fear, surprise, suspense, and mystery to explore humanity's collective fascination with the dark. Now let's discuss the story in detail. Mr. Oliver, an Anglo Indian teacher, was returning to his school late one night on the outskirts of the hill station of Shimla. So, here we come to know Mr. Oliver's school was located on the outskirts of the hill station of Shimla. Outskirts means parts of the town away from the center, away from the city. And Mr. Oliver, he was an Anglo Indian teacher. Anglo Indian means he was a mixed parentage, means one of the parents was British and other was Indian. From before Kipling's time, Kipling here refers to Rudyard Kipling, the writer of Jungle Book. The school had been run on English public school lines, means the school was run in the same manner as the English schools are run. And the boys, most of them from wealthy Indian families, wore blazers, caps, and ties. So the students who studied in Mr. Oliver's school, they all belonged to wealthy, rich families. Life magazine. Life magazine is a very famous American publication. In a feature on India, had once called it the Eton of the East. Here, Eton refers to Eton College, which is a very famous and prestigious boarding school for boys. It is located in England. And the school where in which Mr. Oliver was teaching was same kind of school. That's why Life magazine called it Eton of the East. And Mr. Oliver had been teaching in the school for several years. The Shimla Bazaar, with its cinemas and restaurants, was about 3 miles from the school, and Mr. Oliver, a bachelor, usually strolled. Strolled means walked in a relaxed manner. Usually strolled into the town in the evening, returning after dark when he would take a shortcut through the pine forests. So here we come to know Mr. Oliver was a bachelor, and in order to pass his time in the evening, he used to go to Shimla Bazaar, and he usually returned after dark. And because it was dark, so he used to take a shortcut through the pine forest. When there was a strong wind, the pine forest made sad, eerie sounds. Eerie sound means very mysterious, frightening, or strange sounds that kept most people to the main road. So, children, here we come to know at night in the forest, strong due to strong winds, the pine trees they make very sad and strange, frightening kind of sound, and because of which most of the people they avoid taking the way through the forest. But Mr. Oliver was not a nervous or imaginative man, means he was a brave man. He carried a torch to see the path in the dark. Its gleam. The batteries were running down. Today what happened? The light it became dull because the batteries they were low. Moved fitfully down the narrow forest path, and the path in the forest was narrow. When its flickering light, its low light fell in the figure of a boy who was sitting alone on a rock, Mr. Oliver stopped. So, here we come to know in the flickering light, in the wavering light of the torch, Mr. Oliver noticed a boy sitting on the rock in the forest. And it was very strange. Why? Because the boys were not supposed to be out after dark. What are you doing out here, boy? Asked Mr. Oliver sharply, moving closer so that he could recognize the miscreant. Miscreant here means a person who has done something wrong. So when Mr. Oliver noticed that boy, he thought that the boy had done something wrong and he went closer to him and asked what he was doing there. But even as he approached the boy, Mr. Oliver sensed that something was wrong. The boy appeared to be crying. His head hung down. He held his face in his hands and his body shook convulsively. Convulsively means his body was shaking violently. It was a strange, soundless weeping, and Mr. Oliver felt distinctly uneasy. Distinctly means very clearly. Mr. Oliver went closer to the boy in order to recognize his face. He sensed, he thought something was wrong because it was a strange, soundless weeping. The boy was crying and his body was moving fitfully. His body was shaking violently. Seeing all this, Mr. Oliver, he became uncomfortable. He became uneasy. Well, what's the matter? He asked. Mr. Oliver asked what was the matter. His anger giving way to concern. Earlier, Mr. Oliver was angry, but now he was concerned. He wanted to help the boy. What are you crying for? He wanted to know the reason why the boy was crying. The boy would not answer or look up, but the boy did not reply anything. He did not look up. His body continued to be racked with silent sobbing. He was continuously crying, but there was no sound. His body was shaking. Come on, boy, you shouldn't be out here at this hour. Mr. Oliver said the boy should not be out at that time. Tell me the trouble. Look up. He wanted to know what was the trouble with the boy. The boy looked up. He took his hands from his face and looked up at his teacher. The light from Mr. Oliver's torch fell on the boy's face, if you could call it a face. Why you could not call it a face? Because it had no eyes, ears, nose, or mouth. It was just a round, smooth head with a school cap on top of it. And that's where the story should end. But for Mr. Oliver, it did not end here. So imagine, children, if you find a face without features, it will be very frightening, very scary. So Mr. Oliver, he was also very scared. He got frightened. And this is the point where the story should have ended. But the story did not end. Let's see what happens further. The torch fell from his trembling hand. The torch fell from Mr. Oliver's hands because he was trembling, he was frightened. He turned and scrambled down the path, running blindly through the trees and calling for help. Mr. Oliver, he got frightened. He started running blindly, very quickly, and he was shouting for help. He was still running towards the school buildings when he saw a lantern swinging in the middle of the path. Mr. Oliver, he was continuously running towards the school buildings. Meanwhile, he saw a lantern in the middle of the path. Mr. Oliver stumbled up to the watchman. Mr. Oliver ran quickly, unsteadily to the watchman, gasping for breath. He was panting for breath. What is it, Sahib? Asked the watchman. The watchman asked, what happened? Has there been an accident? Why are you running? Mr. Oliver replied, I saw something horrible, a boy weeping in the forest, and he had no face. No face, Sahib? No eyes, nose, mouth, nothing? The watchman asked. No face? Do you mean it was like this, Sahib? Asked the watchman and raised the lamp to his own face. The watchman had no eyes, no ears, no features at all, not even an eyebrow, only just a round head. And the watchman was just like the boy. And that's when the wind blew the lamp out. And it was a total darkness. So, with this sentence, the story is ended. And what happened after the lamp was off? After the lamp was out, there was total darkness. What happened after this? This we have to imagine. We wonder if what he sees is real or imaginary. But all these things, what we have read, all this makes the story supernatural. It makes the story frightening, strange, and mysterious. So, children, that's all for today. I hope all of you have enjoyed the story.